December 19th, 1949, WXEL TV 9. That's not a misspeak. Our station started out with different call letters and a different number. We moved to Channel 8 in 1953, then finally WJW in 1956. By then, the station was working out of the former Esquire Theater building on Euclid Avenue near Playhouse Square. In the 50s, WJW started a popular 11 p.m. newscast that was only 10 minutes long. It was called the Ohio Reporter, led by Case speech professor Warren Guthrie. This was long before the days of teleprompter, and Guthrie did the whole thing off the cuff. Here he is reminiscing during our 30th anniversary show in 1979.
Even today, somebody wrote this stuff for you. You read it. I didn't read it. I made it up as it went along, which is really true.
It was around this time City Camera News was born.
Tonight, we'll check the water quality out in Berea.
We will awaken to our coldest weather since last spring.
In sports, Rigney calls it quits and the Indians were shot down by the Bird.
Emmy Award-winning City Camera News is next with these stories and reports tonight from Bob Franken on suburbs roles in Milwaukee's school busing plan and Jim Finnerty on the safety of drinking water in Berea.
It was an interesting concept. Every station employee got a Polaroid camera and management said take a photo of anything newsworthy.
I do recall we had every fender bender and every little garage fire in Cleveland until the background sound no longer became music on a news show. It became a staple gun, because while the show was on the air, there was somebody over there still stapling Polaroids to a great big cork screen to get the latest news on the air.
That was straight from the mouth of the late, great Cleveland sportscaster John Fitzgerald back in '79. Eventually, portable motion picture cameras became inexpensive enough to ditch the Polaroids, and before long, videotape made an appearance. WJW was one of the first stations to have a two-man anchor team, Joel Daly and Doug Adair, both in the studio at the same time, which was a big deal. Here's Joel from back in '79.
Within a year or so, through a combination of suggestions, that is, it wasn't a single action, we integrated everyone. We were able to talk to Dick Goddard, and we were able to talk to John Fitzgerald and pass it off to him. Now, of course, that's the state of the art. That's the way it's done all over the country. It's called action news, eyewitness news, whatever they call it. It's what really began at Channel 8 in Cleveland.
You probably heard him mention a familiar name, Dick Goddard. He joined the station in '66, but really made his name during the blizzard of '78.
We've had winds as high as 52 miles an hour here. This air that is over us now on Monday was over the North Pole. Now, that is not hard to believe.
By the late '70s, it was Tim Taylor's turn to man the desk.
Coming up next on News Center 8, freedom for the hostages in a new...
And City Camera News became Cleveland's own News Center 8.
Now, Tim Taylor, Tana Carley, John Telich on sports, and Dick Goddard with weather. This is News Center 8.
Listen, babe, you're gonna love it.
At News Center 8, we believe the people who cover Northeast Ohio news best aren't the ones sent here by their agents, but the ones raised here by their moms. People with a history here, a future here. People who grew up here or plan to grow old here. People proud to call this home. Cleveland's news, Cleveland's pride, Cleveland's own News Center 8.
Next up,
8 is News at 5.
Remember that one back in 1995? That was short-lived.
Now, Fox 8 News at 6.
We became Fox 8 News a year later and never looked back. From Tim and Tana, to Judd, to Denise and Virgil, then Robin. Don't forget Bill and Stacy, and of course Wilma. Then all of us here today. Many, many, many legends have walked these halls over the past 75 years, but we're never stopping being Cleveland's own. Lou Maglio, Fox 8 News.